I'd like to talk about anti-Semitism versus extreme Zionism, and how do moderate Jewish people and moderate European Social Democrats, myself being a Stoic and a European Social Democrat, I would see myself as neutral between the two camps, but given that there is a river of hate that flows between them, can we bridge that with a bridge of peace? That's the question of this video series. In the expansive and complicated questions of anti-Semitism and Zionism are to do with power and who controls what in society. And not just Israeli society, but in general in the Western civilization. Does it include Judaism, or is Judaism a foreign current of thought in Western civilization? Let me put it as expansive as that, because although Israel may be a foreign state, it has a philosophy of protecting itself through political means in the United States, which many National Socialists believe that the Israelis control the United States. This is in many ways evident that they do, because of the amount of people such as Rahm Emanuel, who has ties to Exxon and the Abigail crime family in Israel, who do have links to the American establishment, such as the Clinton family and the Bush family. Now, European nationalism has been extreme in the past, and this video is about reaching out to moderate Jewish people and moderate European nationalists and seeing if we can cooperate or understand each other, or simply should European Social Democrats remain neutral on this argument. So this is an expansive subject. From the National Socialist point of view, which I do not subscribe to, it has become mixed in with ultra-conservatism and Christian nationalism in the United States, and also in some regards to US constitutionalism. Even the Tea Party may be infected with this sort of ultra-conservatism. But in that regard, can we call white nationalism in America National Socialism? Well, one person who said that he admired Jewish people as social democrats, and also in their ability and their intelligence, was a person who wrote the book Mein Kampf. To understand something is not to subscribe to it. I understand the points of view of Zionists and people who are National Socialists, and people who subscribe to those beliefs will know who I'm talking about, because in my videos of Western rationalism versus Middle Eastern doctrine, I spoke about Rabbi Taz, who is a virulent racist and who described the Greek rational thought process of ancient Greece as anti-Semitic, because he said that his religious book described the world so perfectly. They were giving him Jews a compliment, but ancient Jews a compliment. But they said that no, this is anti-Semitic because the book creates the world. So you can see a clear difference between Western rationalism and ancient Judaism. But as we move on through history, the differences between Western civilization and Jewish civilization becomes slightly more blurred. You take the Vienna school of Judaism, which was moderate, rational, and was highly influential on the court of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was destroyed during World War One. And what was that destroyed by? Well, arguably the Slavs may not be a European people, but European nationalism pan-European nationalism in its extreme form, which was sponsored from the French Revolution and then thus affected the Prussians, was then passed on to Austria and the Hungarian Empire, and then this spread to Serbia and Russia, where the Black Hand and the Serbian nationalists killed Archduke Ferdinand, thus sparking off World War One. And this arguably led to the rise of Adolf Hitler and World War Two. Now, in my previous comment, I did not say that Adolf Hitler was not a virulent anti-Semite, as a Zionist would say, but that he had a respect for the power of Jewish people in their terms of their philosophy and their effect on social democracy. If you look at the, and this could be seen as a criticism of social democrats, so I'm loath to put it, but if you see the pattern of registration for social democrats in Germany, those neighbourhoods were as strongly supported National Socialism in Germany as people who were communists who came over to National Socialism when the Communist Party was banned by Adolf Hitler, and also people who were conservatives. That everybody went over to National Socialism because it melded nationalism with socialism and military Keynesianism. This brings us further on to the point that because of World War Two, National Socialists become the most reviled people on the planet, which perhaps they rightly deserve, considering that Hitler killed 6 million Jews and 20 million of his own people and countless millions of Russians. But when people say that Jewish people and Zionists particularly have been angels, then you only have to look at the Abigail crime family to show that they have not been. There is good and bad in every race and creed and nationality and belief system and ideology. What we must do, if we are to avoid a political trap set for us by ultra-conservatives after the Oslo bombings and shootings at Toya Island, is to reach out to moderate nationalists on both sides, because Zionism is about Jewish nationalism and homogeneousness, and European nationalism is perhaps more cosmopolitan in the modern day era and embraces such things as a balance between liberty, equality, the rule of law, but also has a criticism about liberal ideas in it, which is dangerous. Despite the fact that many of the modern day European nationalists are liberals, such as Geert Wilders, he's not an ultra conservative, such as Andres Breivik, who did the shootings and maybe linked with Freemasonry, who is linked with Freemasonry groups who have infected the EDL and BNP, who have links to Thatcherism. And so we must make a strategy of cooperation between Jewish people who have been the traditional enemies of Freemasons, and also nationalists, European nationalists, who have been the traditional enemies of Freemasons. This is a difficult thing to do because of the history, but if we do not do it, then we may be faced with a war on the scale of that we had to fight against Al-Qaeda and the Bin Laden and Saudi crime families, and this would be completely divisive. It was also lead perhaps from a step from ultra-conservatives blaming everything on Muslims to them blaming everything on Jews, which would be a repeat of history, and we must learn from history and not walk into it. As social democrats, being in the centre, that gives us an advantage and a responsibility to reach out to the right, to the left, and Zionists and National Socialists are both on the right. You know, look at Likud, look at Israel, how it's been governed at the moment, and governed ineffectively. They are nationalists, but conservative nationalists, and the way that they've spoken to the American president